everybody. This is Mark Dilatush. Welcome to our podcast. Howie's not here today. He is stuck in his home with an internet connection speed that is comparable to a crippled snail. So he's going to try to get that fixed today, and I'm going to work with you a little bit and explain to you what we're learning as we're evolving the fee-for-service journey series at NPI Education. If you're completely and totally unfamiliar with NPI Education, then if you just go to www.npieducation.com, make an account, and browse around, you'll see a business learning center for dentists and office managers and spouses. Nothing clinical in NPI Education. This is purposeful. You'll also find about 20 of dentistry's best, most ethical, most effective business minds, covering the gamut, everything from efficiency to insurances to consulting to operations to systems to basically almost every topic you could possibly imagine. And if there's a topic in there that we're not covering that has to do with the business of dentistry, believe me, we're going to add it over time. But specifically, what I wanted to talk to you today about was the fee-for-service. There's a series of courses in NPI Education called the Fee-for-Service Journey series of courses. We just added Unit 6. There's 30 or so lessons in the entire Journey series. And the genesis of this, it was largely created from outside influences hitting me simultaneously from basically the dental world, the US dental world anyway. There is a confluence of opportunity that I hope we will rarely see because a lot of it had to do with COVID interrupted your businesses. It probably shut you down for about a month or two, outside of emergency patients, perhaps. And then it took probably 2.5 years for all of your existing patients to make their way back into your hygiene schedule. And you had to find room in your schedules to make up for those 2 months that you were shut down. So if you just do math and project that forward, it takes a couple of years, right, to get all of that done. And dentistry was busy. I've never in 33 years of being in dentistry have ever experienced the number of dental practices that were grossly over capacity. I had too many patients, not enough chairs, not enough time, not enough help for sure, right? Not enough hygienists. Like everybody was all in the same kind of a whirlwind with each other. And even though it felt bad at the time, everyone was going through this, that was a part of the opportunity because this next piece of the opportunity came from the insurance companies. Simultaneous with dentists recovering from being closed for 2 months, trying to treat all the patients that they needed to see, all the pent-up demand from the months you were off, the insurance company said, hey, let's lower our fee. And not just one of them. I mean, I'm not going to say all of them, but I'm going to say I have enough evidence to say most insurance companies, I don't know why they did it, but most insurance companies decided to wake up and say, hey, man, thanks for taking care of all your patients while you were closed for a couple of months. By the way, we're going to lower your reimbursement. So what happened was there was a combination of things happened. We had dentists that were overwhelmed with capacity and insurance companies lowering reimbursement. And if dentists weren't over capacity at the time, they probably just would have lived with the lower reimbursements, right? But what happened was, or at least this is what I perceived to have happened, is because dentists were so busy and they were booking patients like 2 months, 3 months, 6 months out, just didn't have enough room or enough people to handle them all. What happened was dentists started to think, like, why am I even on this plan? Right? And some dentists just said, no, I'll deal with it later. I'm so busy with patients, and that's fine. But a lot of dentists actually started to go, yeah, why am I even on these plans? Why am I running like a hamster on a hamster wheel? Taking this, I'm not going to call it abuse, but I'm going to call it, why am I taking this lower reimbursement? I'm being nice right now. Why am I taking this lower reimbursement while I'm so busy? Do I need to participate with this insurance plan any longer? That's a good question. And I would inject, did you ever need to? So I think what happened over this COVID and the transition out of COVID and somewhat back to normal, the insurance lowering reimbursements, I think dentistry is starting to wake up, and they're starting to wake up as to what insurance participation actually is. And it's honestly the most expensive form of advertising you could possibly choose. Granted, you don't take any money out of your pocket to advertise, but you take about 31% of your fees off the back end after you produce the work. So, in contrast, if you have a 5% advertising budget, you can go 31% or 5%. Which would you like? And right now, there's a ton of dentists who are sitting there going, I like 5% better than losing 31%. It makes perfect sense. So while all this stuff was happening, my team and I met and we're looking for things that we can do to be impactful. Like, how can we impact? And I'm proud to say that we're already impactful. I mean, we get thousands of dental patients to choose dentists based on the benefits of today's dentistry, not on price. We do that routinely every day. That's really impactful because those patients are getting treated. They understand the benefits of why they're choosing the treatment. But there's all kinds of positive impact. But when I met with the team, we're like, how can we improve our impact? And then it hit. And it's like all these things are coming together to create this wave. And for anyone who knows me, they know I'm usually pretty optimistic, right? I'm not the guy you come to tell your problems to. I'm more the guy you come to say, hey man, what can we do? What's next? What can we accomplish? And it just fell into my head. We need to disrupt the dental insurance industry. And it's not because we're going to collude and share pricing between dentists. That's what insurance companies are. They have a law against that. We're not going to do that. The way we're going to disrupt the dental insurance industry is we're going to teach dentists how not to rely on it. We're going to show them systems wise, advertising wise, whatever wise, staffing wise, training wise. We're going to teach them how not to need dental insurance at all to build or grow their practice. What's more interruptive than that? I can't think of anything that would have a greater impact on our client base or on dentists in general than getting them off the hamster wheel, allowing them to spend the time they need or want to spend with their patients to do the treatment they want or need to have happier careers. Like, what's a better impact statement than that? And we didn't find one. So we went off and we built the Fee for Service Journey series of courses. So this podcast, now I couldn't possibly do this myself. That would actually be, if I'm being honest with myself, that would be a disservice. I don't know everything about dentistry. I know what my wheelhouse is. I know, I can guide dentists within my scope of experience and core competence, but I need help, right? So I called a bunch of friends who I would trust to treat dentists correctly, friends who don't need their next client, so they're not salesy, friends in the business who I know are the most effective, highest ethics, highest moral business leaders in dentistry. And I asked them, I said, would you come in here and help me build this journey, build this series of education so dentists really understand how to do this properly? Because it's one thing if you're a dentist, it's one thing to just go, man, I'm booked out 6 months and I have Cigna and they're giving me $8 for this. I hate them. I'm just going to send them a letter and get out. And that's fine. You can go do that if you want, but there's ramifications to every action you take unless you're prepared to take them properly. And there's so many things in the journey. Even the whole first unit of the journey is just all the things you need to consider on your end before you even start to move a practice more toward a fee-for-service business model. And I'll tell you right up front, a fee-for-service business model might not be possible for some of you. And you need to know that before you try to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to drive yourself into frustration. And that never makes sense from the business standpoint. So the intro course does all of those things. It says you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to be okay with that. We're going to have to take a look at your market. We're going to have to do this, and then you're going to have to sit down with your spouse and figure out why you're doing this and paint a picture 3 or 4 years from now what you want your practice to be like. You need to be able to have all these things in order to be successful with the least risk. The whole thing with fee for service transitions is to minimize as much downside risk as possible, because there's dentists out there who think if I just get off of this insurance plan, Cigna, all my Cigna patients are going to leave my office. And that's just absolutely not true. Unless you just hang up the phone on them, they're going to call your practice back and they're going to still want to be your patients. Not all of them, but your A and B patients will. Your C patients they're going to go choose another dentist based on them accepting Cigna, and that's fine. All right. But your A and B patients won't. So part of this series is teaching. Part of this series is system changes in your practice, because there's business system changes that have to be made in order to let go of an insurance plan, but bring in replacement patients to replace the C patients you lost when you dropped the plan. So there has to be a system change in there. And there has to be time saved for your staff. So there's efficiency discussions, there's your team needs to be involved in this. You need to understand how to approach your team with this, get their buy-in, and then create the atmosphere within the office that everyone has a hand in our success. If you do it properly, it can literally be the most rewarding team-wide, culture-enhancing thing that you do in your whole dental career if you do it right. So they have to learn how to do all that stuff. And then staffing, where do you find them and how do you interview them? And how do you know they're a keeper that's going to be able to actually help you grow a fee-for-service practice? All of that stuff minimizes risk. And risk is really what stops a dentist from making or even beginning to make a fee-for-service transition, or beginning to not rely on insurance participation as the sole source of their new patient flow. No, I don't think any dentist out there says, I want to spend 31% on my advertising budget, not 5%, for instance. No dentist says that. But it's the risk. What if it doesn't work? What if all my patients leave me? What if the insurance company sends a nasty letter to all my patients saying that they can't come to me anymore? Which I can guarantee you they're going to do. Okay. Okay. But there's ways to mitigate. That's why the fee for service journey series of courses, it's the primary reason we built NPI Education. We want to disrupt the dental insurance industry by creating 10,000, 20,000, 40,000 fee for service dental practices with owners who are comfortable in their practice and have lives outside of their practice and aren't running between 4 operatories or 5 operatories, who have the practice that they always wanted. They just grew it through insurance participation and then didn't really realize there was another whole way to go. So anyway, this podcast is to let you know what we're doing. We are hopeful. Right now, there's 60, 70, 80 people in the fee-for-service, dentists and some office managers, but mostly dentists, in the fee-for-service journey series of courses. And when we only started this like in May of this year, we're hoping by the end of this year, there's about 400, and it looks like we're going to hit our target. Then in 2023, we're hoping maybe to get that around 1,500 to 2,000. And then in 2024, what we really hope to do is have a live event in a nice city where everyone that's going through a fee for service journey, whether they're just starting, they're in the middle, they're at the end, they're growing fee for service practices, multiple practices. We want to bring all those people, dentists, spouses, business people in the office. We want to bring them to a venue or an event where all the instructors on NPI Ed have their own courses. So the whole team comes in and can get whatever additional education, one-on-one or one-on-many with the instructors, as well as the camaraderie that will be felt between dentists from all over the US all coming to one CE event that is going to, that's purpose is to disrupt the dental industry. Okay. I really do think that there's a visceral need. Maybe it's just emotional. I know it's financial, but maybe it's just an emotional need for dentists to fight back. Like they don't really know how. I see them talking to each other on Dental Town and Facebook groups. Like, how can we fight back? Why isn't the ADA doing something about this? And the answer to that question is because it's not about them. It's about you. You and 10,000 of your colleagues have to do this, right? Without colluding on price. You all have to do this. So that's why the fee for service journey, the series of courses exists in NPI Education. So if you're not on NPI Education yet, by the way, it's complimentary. It doesn't cost anything. Okay. You just npieducation.com, you log in, you make an account, and then you just scroll through the series of courses. There's Dr. Frank Carter's in there with several, myself, Cindy Pardue, Susan Gunn, Rita Zamora, people that you already recognize that are leaders in the business of dentistry. Lacey Phillips, Bonnie Pugh. Mary Beth Bajornis is in there. There's just a whole bunch of us. Our group decided we're going to, yeah, man, let's interrupt the dental industry. Let's teach dentists the right way, the low risk way of not relying on insurance. What could possibly be better than that? As we enter the twilight of our dental careers as business leaders in dentistry, what would be a greater give back? So anyway, if you're wondering, that's where it happened. That's the genesis of the Fee for Service Journey series of courses. We're not going to stop. Right now, it's Unit 6, Lesson 1. In a year and a half, it might be Unit 8, Lesson 5. Okay. If we uncover something dentists need that isn't covered yet, we're going to find the expertise, we're going to create the content, and we're going to put it in there, and we're going to announce it to you when it's available. But right now, there's 30 lessons in there, 7 or 8 hours worth of just staring at your computer and writing down notes. So there's plenty there for you now. Go there and enjoy it, and just let us know if you need anything else in NPI Education or anything in particular for the fee for service journey. Let us know, and we'll add it for you. For now, have a great holiday season with your family, and we'll see you on the next podcast.